Hiya, Barbie.
Hi, Ken.
You want to go do a podcast?
Sure.
Jump in.
Ladies and gentlemen, ghouls and mansters, frightmares of all ages, and everyone else, welcome to Binging Barbie. I'm your host, Jay, and with me I have my co-host. Enough, John. You are like baby yak at dinner time.
Yak insulted by insult. Yak destroy.
Yes, I'm bringing in a yak from a different toy company, so Mattel, eat your heart out.
Yeah, this is a podcast about movie tie-ins for toy franchises, and this week we are continuing our deep dive into Monster High. We are talking about the movie Monster High Fright On.
Special more than movie, but yes.
Yeah, this is kind of the second movie, though sometimes considered the first, though yeah, it's not a feature-length thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was released October 30th, 2011 on Nickelodeon. This is a full year after the last one we talked about. It's directed once again by Adu Padan, and we actually have some co-directors here, Alfred Jimeno and Victor Dalcele. Jimeno directed episodes of The Animaniacs and actually did storyboards for several DreamWorks animated films, including Kung Fu Panda. And Dalcele was a storyboard artist on many shows, including the 80s Transformers, He-Man, and She-Ra shows, as well as X-Men, the animated series, and Gargoyles, and one of my favorites, the Netflix show Q-Force, which was unfortunately canceled after one season, but very good. But yeah, sort of someone who's worked a lot with these toy franchises. And he also directed My Little Pony Princess Promenade, which I bring up because we have a history with that one.
We do. Yes.
So this was the one My Little Pony movie that my sister had when we were growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And when you got into My Little Pony, for some reason we were finally getting rid of the Princess Promenade movie. So rather than send it off to Goodwill, we gave it to you as like a gag gift for Christmas or something.
Yeah, it was Christmas. He also got me a little pony figurine as well. I did watch that. I did a reaction review to that you can watch on YouTube. You can find it. But yeah, not the proudest thing to be a director for. That's for sure.
All I can remember is there was some joke about like ladies in waiting.
You know, sure. Yeah, you could say that. That was a wild thing. Just yeah, it's a thing.
That was my introduction to the term ladies in waiting.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, for Monster High, we have a story by the writing team. We have a lot of credited writers here. The story is by Adu Padan, Lauren Rose, and Ira Singerman. We talked about all of these people on the last episode. And then the screenplay was written by Mike Monsano and Ted Zisik. They seem to be writing partners because they work on a lot of things together. They wrote a lot of the other Monster High movies, as well as the Disney Channel show Jessie.
Jessie.
Did you watch that one?
I did, yeah.
Okay. Was it any good?
I mean, I was a teenager, a tween when I watched it, so it was for tweens.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't recognize it until I looked it up, and then the logo I remembered, but I didn't watch much Disney Channel.
Well, I did.
And yeah, we have music here by Steven Arguila, who we've talked about quite a few times on this podcast, so
all right,
belabor that.
Yes, on to the plot summary, and I'm gonna destroy my throat for this one.
Boy.
Yes, just to make it interesting and fun, I'm gonna do the yak again. So I'm gonna take off my headphones because I don't want to hear you laughing in my ears. So I need to hear what I'm saying.
All right. Yak. Monster High is planning an integration with 2 other schools. An all-vampire school and an all-werewolf school. Headmistress Bloodgood assigns the fear-leading squad to form the welcoming committee. Frankie's the one who's excited but not fully understanding of the long-standing feud between werewolves and vampires. The vampires and werewolves arrive, and despite some initial tension, the fear-leading squad are eventually able to help everyone overcome their prejudices. Seeing the process being made, Bloodgood's assistant, Crabgrass, calls in monster expert Van Helscream. The next day, Headmistress Bloodgood mysteriously disbands the welcoming committee. Van Helscream also starts manipulating the vampires and werewolves that start turning against each other. Claudine's sister, Howleen, gets radicalized into joining a werewolf pride movement. The werewolves drive a wedge between Draculaura and her werewolf boyfriend, Claude, causing Draculaura to spend more time with the vampires. Frankie, Abby, and Laguna realize that Van Helscream has turned Bloodgood into stone, and Crabgrass has taken Bloodgood's place. Frankie and Abby are able to unfreeze Bloodgood, but they get kidnapped by Van Helscream and thrown into a cage with Draculaura and Howleen. Turns out Van Helscream is trying to pit the monsters against each other to keep them from uniting and threatening the normies. The normies! With Howleen and Draculaura missing, the vampires and werewolves blame each other and start fighting. Abby uses her powers to break the cage and the group escapes. Everyone reconciles and the vampires and monsters stop fighting just in time for a visit from the superintendents, who decide that merging the three schools was a good idea. That wasn't quite it, but I did something.
Yeah, you were getting a bit. Is it Greta from Gravity Falls?
Greta. Okay.
Like, I think it's just because the voices are similar enough that it was kind of like...
See, I messed it up from the beginning. I wasn't quite Yak. It's like, destroy! But no, it was something. Yeah. Let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, this is a major improvement from the last movie. I think the longer runtime really allows for just better pacing and actual themes that are a little bit more interesting, and we'll talk about the themes here in a bit, but how they're maybe slightly mishandled, but
sure.
Yeah, it is, this is a movie with a plot that feels like a movie with a plot.
Yeah, and it's not just like 5-minute intervals made into 40 minutes. It's an actual 40-minute story.
Yeah. And there's actual moments of like danger and stakes. Like not super high danger, super high stakes. It's just very different from the last movie we watched for this.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it is interesting. We get a lot more character and character arcs here. We get a sense for who the different characters are a bit better. I was actually, between the last one and this, I did watch a little bit of the show that sort of ties into this. So I am also kind of learning a bit more about the characters from there.
Yeah.
This actually gives the characters arcs and traits that are easy to point out.
Yeah, the first one was hard to recognize some people.
Yeah.
But here there's a lot more stable. Obviously, there are some characters who were probably more so introduced in the show, and so when they appeared here, it's like, who's that?
Yeah.
Why are they prominent? Oh, they're probably from the show or something. I'm just missing it.
Yep. Yeah, I think Abby doesn't really get much of an introduction here, but is a very important character.
Is she the southern character?
No, she's the Yeti, the Abby Abominable.
Oh, yeah. There was also the southern character in the catacombs or something.
Yeah, who I think that's another character that must be in the shows. I think
must be. Yeah.
But yeah, it is an interesting plot that I don't know. It feels odd to praise it for being an actual plot with themes and coherent arcs and villains and stuff. But yeah, after the last movie, I think this is a much better introduction to this world. Now, you could probably kind of tell from the plot summary that this is one of those kids' movies that's actually about racism.
Yeah,
And
something like that.
I I don't want to get too much in the weeds on this, but it is a pretty clumsy metaphor there. It falls into a lot of the same issues that kids' movies do when they try and explore this topic. It's like a very simple, condensed view that doesn't actually account for real world complexities.
I mean, it's hard for them to do because they're just doing
Yeah,
vampires and werewolves, and it's like, I don't know, how do you do that?
yeah, and there's no real like accounting for different factors. You don't know systemic injustice or institutional issues. It's just kind of the message just boils down to like, why can't we all get along?
Sure, yeah,
Which is not a bad message. It's just there's it definitely feels like this is missing some. I kind of wish they had gone with something that wasn't so clearly a metaphor for racism.
sure, but
I mean,
uh,
at least they're doing something, but it kind of it feels like they don't have quite the
mhm, which is just you ended up watching something else in relation to this whole thing, which was What We Do in the Shadows, the film.
yeah. I was watching that separately, but yeah, I did watch that at around the same time as this.
And that one also has like a huge vampire versus werewolves. Honestly, vampires versus werewolves seems to be a constant theme.
Yeah,
Twilight had it as well.
though in all of those, it's less. I guess I don't know about Twilight, but in What We Do in the Shadows, there's no racism metaphor implied by it. At least not that I picked up on.
It just seemed more like a rival gang thing. But no, it was just I found it funny watching this, just thinking back to What We Do in the Shadows, being like, oh yes, okay,
Yeah, which I believe that movie would have come out before this, so maybe an inspiration.
maybe.
And yeah, I do think there is an interesting idea in terms of because the conflict is sparked by Van Helscream, who comes in and is sort of stoking these tensions, which reminded me somewhat of the Hunger Games. Just the remember who the real enemy is,
You
um,
see, yeah,
from the
it's
second
a
film.
little more interesting than just your basic, oh, let's get together. Here you have a little bit more intrigue with your third character, but yes, it kind of does muddy some things as well.
Yeah, again, it's I'm glad they're going for something. I just kind of wish they weren't going for such a like touchy issue.
I mean, this was
Though,
2011.
yeah,
It's a different time,
yeah.
of course.
Oh, 2011. I forgot that maybe this didn't come out before What We Do in the Shadows. I think it came out the same year. But yeah, yeah, you can definitely tell this is a product of a slightly different time, but definitely sort of both kids media and I think fantasy in general have a hard time dealing with racism as a topic in any sort of complexity.
Sure, it could also just be a thing is that we're constantly bringing our own view of racism into that system, which doesn't really work, and so
Yeah.
it's probably just fine of its own. But like we have our own history
Yeah,
in
I
our
do think
world,
it
not us
is.
personally.
Yeah. I do think it is intentional, the parallels they're drawing here. But yeah,
Sure.
I think there is also a level of what biases you go in. But yeah, I, anything to say about the story from your perspective?
My perspective, better, not amazing, but yeah.
Yeah, I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. Again,
Hmm.
I think it is a very much an improvement. There's still some things that are a little bit iffy, though.
Yeah. I also gave it a 2.5.
Now, what I'm more interested here are the characters because we get so much more about them here. So our sort of de facto protagonist is Frankie Stein. Um, since she's sort of the youngest and least experienced of the characters, we're kind of seeing things through her perspective. But
Mm-hmm.
we definitely get a much better understanding of her character here. Beyond just being the new girl at school, she's very optimistic, but also a little naive. But still driven very much to do the right thing.
Yeah.
She is kind of the Barbie equivalent in some ways. The closest we have to a Barbie equivalent here.
I mean, sure, you could
Not
say
fully.
that.
Yeah, some of the Barbies. Kind of depends on which iteration, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's just like a
She has
protagonist in a
that
kids movie
protagonist
thing.
energy
Yeah,
of these kid shows where they are exactly what you said. They're optimistic but naive.
yeah. And she has this tiny arc. Has to sort of learn that not everyone is as friendly and open-minded and outgoing as she is.
Hmm.
But a lot of the films, she's actually trying to solve other people's problems versus learning things herself. Which I think we have so many characters here that she doesn't need a big arc in order for the characters to be interesting.
Right.
Because we have Draculaura, who has a bit more of an arc, and we
Sure.
get a little bit more of her character as well. She's a little bit more emotional and motivated by relationships and emotions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She she has what I'm calling a reverse arc, where she starts and ends the movie in the same place, but in the middle she has to go through a change. She has to reject this ideology that the vampires are pushing on her, the sort of hierarchy that they're trying to get her involved in. Yeah, I don't know. There isn't a ton to say about these characters. I feel like a lot of it is kind of self evident.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's also like in the moment watching it, I was enjoying it, but thinking back, I can't recall a bunch of specifics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe I'd have to sit down and watch through it again. Then we have Claudine, who's a bit of a foil to Draculaura. She's a bit more grounded, um, less motivated by emotions, though still has an emotional side to her. And that's actually her arc here, is about learning to understand her sister a little bit better. Um, and speaking of which, we have Howleen, who probably is the most dynamic character in this, has the biggest arc. Um, she's the younger sister of Claudine, and very much in that younger sibling way, is trying to figure herself out and wants to be like her sister, but also doesn't want to be like her sister. She keeps stealing her sister's things and then doing things like repainting the backpack. So it's like it's her sister's thing, but now she's made it her own, but it's still her sister's thing.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to find some way to fit, to find her identity. Um, and then eventually she gets sort of manipulated by Van Helscream and the werewolves into joining this movement that she doesn't fully understand. Um, and I think it is, there's an important message there about not letting yourself get dragged into sort of movements that are defined by hate. Um, but some of the implications here are a bit, the way they frame these two, the specifically the werewolf pride movement, the phrasing of that kind of pinged
Mm-hmm.
my or raised a red flag for me of like, there's a difference between being proud of part of your identity and hating people who don't belong to that part of the identity. So yeah, I don't know. Again, it's a complex issue that is very simplified here as like these movements are bad. Everyone needs to be the same but different.
And again, slightly different idea 10 years ago than today.
Yeah, yeah. Very different today. And yeah, cuz it's the dynamics here you can read a lot into, and I don't want to read a lot into because I don't think it's meant to be read too much into. But yeah, the some of the phrasing here kind of made me question a little bit what the intention was here. But yeah, I think there is good intentions here of being like, hey, be careful what you're joining. Don't just join a movement because it seems like it will give you an identity. Kind
Sure.
of have to figure out who you are, and then yeah. Again, don't want to get on too much of a soapbox here. Thoughts on Howleen?
Didn't really care for her, but yeah.
Yeah, I she's the annoying little sister.
Mm-hmm.
I think by the end of the movie, she's grown a lot. And I like that moment between her and Claudine, the sort of when they reconcile. I think that's a good moment. Then we have Laguna, who is once again the voice of reason. That's kind of the role she played in the last one.
Yeah.
But
Once
she doesn't
again,
have. Oh, go ahead.
once again, she doesn't have much to do.
Yeah.
She's here, but she feels more like part of the group because she's around
Yeah.
at
And
least.
the story here has doesn't have a ton to do with her, but she still does get a few moments throughout the movie to kind of be there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like you said, she's more a part of the group where rather than the character who shows up like halfway through. Then the last two people in, or I guess three people in the main group, we have Abby Abominable, who we only saw briefly in the last one, but she might be one of my favorites of this main group. She's very practical and deadpan. She's
Mm-hmm.
the sort of Russian stereotype character.
Sure. Yes.
But the way she's implemented here, she's such a great contrast with the rest of the characters. Like just her complete deadpan practicality. The
Mm-hmm.
She makes a sign for the welcoming committee that's just like, doesn't it just say like welcome in black lettering on wooden planks?
I,
And
I think so.
doesn't look welcoming at all? But no, that makes sense with her character that she would be like, well, we were told we need to welcome the students to the school, so I made a sign that says welcome.
And I love the moment where they're trying to figure out, it's like, which powder fixes the situation? And she just grabs it, throws it at some random statue, and it's like, oh yeah, it's this one.
Yeah, she might be the most competent of the group because she's always, she's the one who breaks them out of the cage. She's doing things to get people moving and
Yeah,
like the
I,
most
I
street
don't think
smart.
she's quite one of the main cast members, but like a guest star for the group.
Yeah, I think she is part of the core line of dolls, but yeah, I don't know too much about what's coming up. And yeah, I just think she had some of the best laughs of the movie. I love the baby yak line, which is why I used it in the intro.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, next up we have Cleo, who is once again she's the other one who felt pretty defined in the last
Mm-hmm.
movie because she's the conceited and a little bit mean one.
Yeah,
I think it's interesting seeing her though compared with like the vampires, who are also conceited and mean, but in a way that feels less. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Like Cleo seems it might just be like the devil you know, the devil you don't. But Cleo just seems less malicious.
Right. She's still pretty selfish, but at least she understands a good group.
Yeah. Yeah, and she can get along with other people even though she doesn't want to.
Right.
And she has this great moment of self-reflection on seeing these how the vampires are treating these other students and just realizes how poorly she's been treating Gulia.
Wow. That's sure to be refreshed by the next film.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something that is played off somewhat as a joke, but I think it was a fun little character moment. And I honestly think Cleo could shape up to be like a Raquel type character, just in terms of having more depth to her and being less conceited than she seems.
Right.
We aren't quite getting that from this one, but I think that could start to show up a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing about Cleo is that she mostly disappears for the second half of the movie. So that doesn't factor in as much to the plot, but I'm assuming later ones because she's pretty popular, so
Sure.
I assume she'll take a bigger role. But yeah, Gulia.
Ghoulie, I really wish for her to have an arc that's just her standing up for herself and not being pushed aside by Cleo.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
even
she
though Cleo has that moment, you can probably definitely tell that she's going to continue this relationship of sorts.
yeah. I'm curious to see how that develops throughout this series.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how prominent Gulia is in other films, but yeah, we'll see. Because yeah, she is one of my favorite characters here. Because you just feel for her.
Yeah.
She's so loyal to Cleo, and Cleo is so conceited and mean to her. And yeah, she's also the one who I think the show is very interesting in how it develops her character a little bit.
Hmm.
Obviously the show is 1 to 3 minute episodes, so there isn't a ton of, but she gets a little bit more focus in certain episodes.
Hmm.
I've been watching. There's a compilation that I think is all of the episodes. That's like 6 hours on YouTube, so I'll just watch like
Ugh,
15 minutes at a time.
6 hours.
I know it's a lot. I don't know if I'll ever get through it all, but
Mm-hmm.
so yeah. In terms of the other heroes here, we are heroes, not quite heroes, but headmistress Bloodgood, aka the headless headmistress, which
Uh-huh.
I love. I love seeing a Dullahan in this type of
Is that what
thing.
she is?
Yeah, that's the at least the creature in Irish folklore.
Okay.
Um, so I'm assuming that's what they're going for.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she's pretty good at her job actually as a headmistress. Like she cares about the students and takes outside suggestions from the students. She just gets turned to stone for half of the movie, so
Yeah.
yeah, for her I like her design. I like the way I like her horse, Nightmare the horse.
Sure. That
There's not a
horse.
lot. Yeah, she doesn't have a ton to her character. She's like, but she's fun.
She's the good authority figure
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
to contrast against the not so good authority figure.
Yeah, Van Helscream.
Hmm. Yeah. No, when he showed up, I was like, oh, this is taking a different direction than what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, because you think as it's starting out, it's going to be vampires versus werewolves.
And it's like, oh, okay, just that typical West Side Story, Romeo and Juliet meshing of the groups. But no, it's like, oh, okay, we're gonna add some, I guess, political intrigue into this.
Yeah, that's actually a good way to put it. Which yeah, we did forget to mention the relationship between Draculaura and Claude. But yeah, that does have certain Romeo and
Stuff.
Juliet vibes. But yeah,
Yeah.
once Van Helscream shows up, he definitely. I mean, it's just nice to have a villain. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes it's just nice to. It helps the structure of the conflict a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And he is interesting the way he's pulling strings while pretending to be very altruistic.
For what purpose? I don't
I
know.
mean,
What is this world?
yeah, that I
Like
think,
we focus so much on just this one high school. I don't know what the stakes are. Apparently, this
yeah,
high school is so special, but like I never got the sense for that. Well,
yeah,
I guess you have
it's
to watch the
odd.
show, but even then, when they
The
go to
show
the
doesn't get
mall,
into it. No, the show doesn't
even when they went to the
get
mall on
into it.
that one
Yeah,
small episode, it's like, oh, it's all monsters.
yeah, yeah. There is a sort of. I'm thinking they're going for like the Harry Potter. There's like the monster world, and then the regular people world, and
I
they kind of like
suppose.
they cross over a little bit, but not too much. And the mall is more like Hogsmeade, where it's like, oh, this is where the monsters can do normal stuff without worrying about.
Okay,
But
Halloween Town. I don't know.
yeah, I think you're very right to point out that it's like, yeah, this isn't well defined, so it is a bit. You don't really understand what Van Helscream, what his motivation is,
Yeah, I
because
mean, he's a monster hunter of some kind.
yeah, which honestly he could have just been a monster hunter, and that probably would have been fine. Though I think they did want to give him more, a little bit more, because I do think it is interesting this idea of the sort of the authorities, the ruling class, pitting people against each other to keep them distracted. That's the whole idea of the Hunger Games series.
Hmm.
Um, that happens a lot in authoritarian governments. Sort of the government pitting people against each other, and the sort of social plans of like, if you see something, say something, which then gets people to turn on each other, and helps maintain authority of whoever's in power. But yeah, we don't understand the relationship between humans and monsters in this world, so I don't know what the intention is beyond just what Van Helscream states.
Hmm.
Like, are the humans in charge? Are the monsters an oppressed class? If
Who
so,
knows?
why? Because the monsters are very clearly very powerful, which is the Harry Potter problem as well.
Sure.
But
Humans are called normies in this one,
yes.
it seems.
Why is Jackson half normie, half monster, but Claudine isn't, even though she's a werewolf?
Why do they call girlfriends my ghouls when you have people like Ghoulia, who's a ghoul?
Yeah. So many I mean, I guess you could say, because like man and mankind.
Mhm.
So it's ghouls and the ghouls, yeah, I don't know.
Sure.
Are they called ghouls, or are they called zombies, or is it both?
Well, Ghoulia, she's a ghoul. She's a different from a zombie.
Okay,
There's a slight difference.
because is it slow mo? Isn't he? Is he a ghoul or a zombie? Or
He's a zombie.
are all ghouls ghouls and all zombies men?
So all ghouls are zombies, but not all zombies are ghouls. Or is it no? All ghosts are
Oh.
phantoms, but not all phantoms are ghosts. Sorry, it's the other way around.
Again, world building here is a little bit iffy, and there's probably stuff that explains it all, but
Sure. Sure. A guidebook
somewhere
or
out there,
something.
like, there, I think the dolls used to come with like diary entries, so it's probably all
Yeah,
there.
probably. Just gotta look at the Monster High Wiki or something.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, moving on. We have Oh, I did want to say with Van Helscream, I think they are playing into this interesting idea of what if the humans are the real monsters, and that's very ideologically aligned with the whole Monster High brand. This idea of, hey, what if the monsters are misunderstood and not actually the villains? And there's a long history of why people find that compelling, but the way monsters were often used as metaphors for groups of people, and then more recently having works of art or media that questions that. Guillermo del Toro does a lot of that in his work. So
Hmm.
yeah, I like that notion. I kind of wish we understood more about it, though. The world building isn't quite there.
Right.
But yeah, next up we have Crabgrass, who I don't have a ton to say about besides that she has a
No.
very interesting design.
That name though is no. I was hoping for something more about her because it's like, who's this old lady who just wants to destroy this? But no, she's just kind of a conduit for Van Helscream or something.
Yeah, it's something again without the world building we don't understand why she would be working with him.
Sure.
No, there's a few characters because this movie has a lot of characters.
A lot of
And
characters.
not in a way that feels overwhelming, or at least I didn't find it overwhelming. But yeah, we have Claude Wolf, who he's kind of mean to Draculaura. Like he just kind of dumps her, which is a little bit odd.
After being influenced by his kind or
Yes,
whatever.
yeah, I don't see that relationship as it's presented in this lasting very long.
Hmm, yeah.
Um, but the other person I wanted to bring up is Romulus, who's the leader of this werewolf pack. And I have a question about this character. Why is this 40-year-old man attending a high school?
Yeah. Like he
Like,
just looks his design just makes him so unique. It's like, there's just something about that character that just doesn't quite work for this.
no,
But
it
yes,
doesn't at all.
he does
Again,
kind of
he looks
seem like that
40.
40-year-old man.
He looks like he is 40 years old and acts like it too.
Hmm.
Uh, that that was something an observation I had while watching the movie. Like, what's going on with this character that I saw people talking about it online? Like, yeah, what is up with this?
Maybe he's just got held back so much. He's
Yeah, I
just
mean,
not very good.
Draculaura is 1600 years old, so
Well, no. She's not. She says that her parents wouldn't allow her to date unless she was 1600.
oh, but there's a plot in one of the episodes that's
Oh.
she's having her sweet 1600.
Well, when she okay, you watch the show, so
Yeah.
uh,
Anything else to say about the characters?
no,
So
no.
so much of an improvement now that we kind of have a better idea who these characters are.
Yes,
Do you have an early favorite in terms of like the main cast?
probably Gulia, of course, because
Yeah.
she's that one you want to root for. I I also like Abby.
Okay. I was wondering if you would agree with me on that.
Yes, but of like the first set that we may mostly see. I don't know. I like them all.
I like Cleo the most of the
Oh,
original
I don't care
five.
for Cleo. Maybe Draculaura. He's
Yeah, I do also like them all. I think Cleo is the one where I'm like, she's almost there. I just want a little bit more depth, and then she'll be more of like a Raquel type.
hmm
So yeah, overall though, I gave the characters a 3 out of 5 here.
Yeah, so do I. We're pretty much on the same page on our rankings here.
Next up, we have the visuals, which once again, so many unique designs for the
Mhm.
monsters. There's a Cthulhu in this one.
There's a few little tiny Cthulhus in this
Yeah,
one.
I
Yeah.
was very happy. I'm always happy when Cthulhu shows up.
I saw
Any
them and I was like,
any
oh, he's gonna like Cthulhu.
yeah, yeah. I am a noted H.P. Lovecraft visuals fan,
Hmm.
and the writing as well.
Sure.
Not the person, because the person was
Weird.
iffy, but
Yeah.
yeah, no. Anytime there's Lovecraft stuff, like the Lovecraft Batman movie, that was fun. Also, did you catch the connection here? Because here they use the bats to get rid of the tiny Cthulhus. So I assume that bats must be the natural predator of Cthulhu, because that was the
Okay.
plot of the Batman one as well.
Well, I don't know anything about Cthulhu. He's just the guy with the.
Yeah, I mean that's essentially what he is in the book. I've read the book and
Okay.
or the short story, and yeah, he's just the big guy with the who like
Okay.
influences people's dreams and will one day rise up and destroy the world.
That sounds nice.
He's one of many creatures in Lovecraft lore that's supposed to one day rise up and destroy the world.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the vibe.
Yeah,
But
they
yeah,
can do poetry together.
actually, the book, the entire inciting incident is a bunch of people start showing up with like, "Hey, I've been having," a bunch of artists start showing up and be like, "Hey, I've been having these strange dreams and making weird art." So
Okay.
poetry would be on the docket there, I think.
I guess. Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, on to the rest of the visuals.
I
The
think the animation is a bit of an improvement
Okay,
over, especially the first episode. That one, they were learning the program. Things weren't as smooth. They were definitely much more choppy. But here, I think they've gotten a good grasp for just a baseline, good quality that's like very similar to what I'm used to. So
okay, that's good to hear because I have no context for what
it's,
this is
I
supposed
mean,
to look like.
still
So
nothing spectacular for sure,
yeah,
but I definitely, it's definitely much better than what we initially got. So they're learning, they're help setting the trend that will later be utilized. So
yeah,
good
I
on them.
did nothing stuck out to me, so I was assuming it was slightly better. Though, yeah, you have the eye for this that I don't.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I gave the visuals a 3 out of 5. Again, an improvement, and a
Yeah.
lot of unique designs that I enjoyed.
So did I.
This is, I believe, the last one that's going to be 2D animated of the movies.
Yeah, you said that last time, but we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, no, I looked this up on the because the poster isn't. The poster has
Oh,
the 3D models,
well, that's interesting.
which is why I assumed this was going to be 3D. So we'll see next week what the next one is.
Oh.
But yeah, on to the performances. We talked about a lot of these people on the last one, so we'll kind of skip through them. But we have 2 Barbies in this. We have Kate Higgins playing Frankie Stein once again, but we
Yeah.
also have America Young playing Halloween
Oh,
Wolf.
yeah. Okay. America Young. I didn't see that. Interesting. I thought I thought her voice sounded familiar.
Okay.
I just couldn't quite place it.
Yeah. A lot of other people who, again, we talked about a lot of these people.
They all do a good
Debbie
job for what they're
Derryberry,
doing.
and yeah. Yeah, no one really stood out to me a whole lot, but
No.
again, they're no one's doing a bad job either. I think they're all capturing these characters very well.
Capturing these brand new original characters, yeah.
Well, you get their vibes based on the voice.
You get their vibe.
I think who plays Cleo? Sally Safoiti as Cleo. I think she does a good job with, like, you get Cleo's character very quickly.
Yeah, she's also Claudine.
Yeah.
Claudine. What is Claudine's voice?
She has a bit of like a southern accent or New York accent.
I think it's New York.
I'm bad at accent recognition.
Is it? I don't want to get into that, but okay.
Yeah. Laura Bailey, I remember her having some good line readings early on as the headless headmistress.
Early on, as in the show or in this?
Oh, in this movie, like, because
Okay.
she's missing from a lot of the movie, but
Mhm.
yeah, when she was playing the character. So yeah, I gave the performances a 3 out of 5.
Yep.
Last up, we have the sound.
Mm-hmm.
Is it
Yeah.
just me, or did the soundtrack not stick out nearly as much?
There were a couple moments that I noticed. One where they played the theme in the background. Um, Two, they had a Mission Impossible
Oh
motif.
yeah, the Mission Impossible, that was fun.
Yeah, yeah. They like show cartoons really like using that motif
Yes.
in every situation where they're doing spy. It's like, oh, no matter what, it's okay. Let's do that motif. They're just sneaking around the corner. Motif.
Yeah. I was talking though, it didn't stick out to me as much, but I think that's good
Sure.
because for the last one, there were scenes where it's like, oh, this score is way too intense for the scene it's in. And even like watching through the show, every episode starts out with the first music in the episode is like, oh, this does not fit what's going on.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Here it feels so much better integrated.
that's the case with these cartoons. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
Again, I wonder if it's, the artists are being commissioned for like, hey, do a song that is tense. And so they do a song that is tense. And if it's too tense for the scene, they don't really know because they don't have the scene in front of them.
Well,
But yeah, who knows? I don't know
depends.
a ton about how this is made. So,
Depends. Normally, you have your one artist who maybe has a storyboard and they work with the storyboard
okay.
versus the actual animation.
Yeah. So maybe the storyboards are a bit more intense than the
Maybe I don't know
final animation.
because maybe the storyboard's like those monsters look a little bit more creepy or monster. It's like
Yeah.
they
So
don't
yeah,
see the colorized version. It's like oh wait that's what they look like, so cute and cuddly. Oh
actually
okay.
that would make sense because if you're thinking like black and white horror and especially like silent era horror,
Mm-hmm.
the soundtrack is very intense and melodramatic. So yeah, that would make sense. But yeah, I gave the sound here a 3 out of 5. I thought it was an improvement over last time.
So did I. Again, we're all on the same page. We both gave it a 14.5, which is a 58% or a 2.9 5-star rating.
Yeah, this is such an improvement, and I am very happy because after last one, I was kind of dreading doing more of these, but now I'm feeling better about it.
I figured they would get better. Like, starting is rough,
Yeah,
especially when you're given specific parameters, like what they were given. Just 5-minute shorts told into 20-minute story. It's, you know, it is what it is, but
yeah,
I will see what happens in the future. We'll see what the 3D looks like. Hopefully, it looks good
yeah. I mean, hope,
ish.
yeah,
Good enough.
yeah, good enough. We want to enjoy these.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you everyone for listening. Make sure to follow us on social media. We are Binging Barbie Podcast on Instagram and Tumblr. Um, Binging Barbie on Twitter, serialized, and we just recently made a Blue Sky. If you are on there, you can give us a follow there as well. And then we are Binging Barbie, a Barbie movie podcast on Letterboxd. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a 5-star review. We will be back next week with Monster High. Why do ghouls fall in love?
Oh
Have you seen this one?
no.
Because I know you've seen a couple of the
I've
early
I've
ones.
just seen I've just seen the earlier shorts.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying, ooh, because like, is this a Ghoulia related one? We'll see.
I know a little bit about the plot of this one. We'll have an interesting discussion about certain characters.
Okay.
But yeah, see you then.
Bye,
Until
buddy.
then, oh, I forgot to write something not to do. Until then, don't sound like a baby yak at dinner time.
Yak insulted. Destroy podcast. Ah!